Hello, my friends. Our topic is astrological compatibility. I'm going to show you a relatively new and very exciting way to do compatibility analysis. I'm really excited about this development. How to see what wavelength people are connected on. Are you on the same wavelength? What we're going to find out is everybody is connected on some wavelength. But what wavelength is it and what planets are involved changes the nature of the bonding between the people massively. And this video is a third video in a series of videos on compatibility that I've made within the past month or two. And I want to explain how the technique I'm going to explain here compares to the other two techniques. So the first technique in compatibility that I showed in this series of videos was in the videos on keys to compatibility. What we learned in this series of two videos on keys to compatibility are there are certain vibrations that tend to show up in married couples, specifically 7, 13, and 55. Might sound strange, but the 7, as we note here, is a soulmate connection, an inner deep connection. 13 is the sense of the people being special to each other. Like, this is my destiny. This is the person for me. And 55 is this feeling of being rejuvenated, being alive and creative in a way you didn't feel before. So these are three kinds of qualities of connections between married couples that we found. And the planets involved, Venus. There's one exception, which is sun to moon. So if the two people, the married couple, have their suns and moons connected on 7, 13, or 55, there's a higher chance of them coming together to get married. Or one person's Venus to other planets in the other person's chart also does it in these same vibrations, 7, 13, 55. There are a lot more details about specifically what was found in those marriage charts, but we want to just remember the basics. 7, 13, 55, planet Venus, or sun-moon connection. Those are things that incline towards marriage. Why do we say that? Because these 20,000 married couples have the planets connected in those ways way, way, way more than beyond chance. And we are guessing, you might say, or theorizing would be a better word, that was not just a random finding, that was less than 1 out of 1,000 possibility. That was a real finding that these things are there. Things like zodiac sign compatibility, somewhat surprised that they didn't show up at all. So if you think, oh, well, you're fishing around with all these weird vibrations, why don't you just connect by, sun and moon and send it in the same element? Well, that didn't work at all. I expected it to work a little bit, but it didn't. Okay, so that's one compatibility technique. The other thing we found is you can look at what Venus is doing in one person's chart. Specifically, what is your Venus-Mars doing? Your Venus-Saturn, Venus-Uranus, Venus-Neptune, Venus-Pluto. What vibration are they on very intensely? And then see if the other person connects on it. And we used the married couple, Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson, actor and actress in Hollywood and in the United States, because they have a very long-lasting, very good marriage, which is unusual for people who are actors, Hollywood actors in the United States, to see what is going on with them that works for them. And we use their charts, in this series of two videos, Astrological Compatibility in a Vibrational Universe. Now let me show you the third technique. And this technique is, or thing to be aware of, to look for, because actually these other two get incorporated into this third method. We're aware of them as we're doing this third technique, so they're not completely distinct from each other. But this third technique is the most fundamental. It's the one that I use, that I go to now directly. to find out what's going on. And what it is there's a feature in the Sirius 4.0 software. This is the version 4.0 that came out, I think it was January 2023, or maybe it was the end of 2022 in December, somewhere around there. This new version came out and it just shows you the high vibrations. We've been working with it and wow, it seems to just be amazing. Just continually pinpointing exactly what's going on. And we're going to use Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson again to demonstrate how we use this. So let me show you how you select it in case you have the software and you want to run it. Let me get rid of this. Here I've got the chart of Tom Hanks, and I've also brought in Rita Wilson. And what you do is you go to interpretation, which is a little bit weird. I want to put this under listing, but it's a long story. It ended up interpretation because it's not actually an interpretation. It's a listing of information. And we're going to go to compatibility profile scores. Okay, so interpretation, then compatibility profile scores, and then select the person you're going to compare to. I have only one other chart here, Rita, and then select compatibility scores, and then you'll see English, and then number 3, strongest astral vibrations, compatibility scores, and click OK. Then the scores are going to come up, and what we're going to see is first it's going to just show the vibrations from 1 to 360. You saw it took a few seconds to calculate because it has to do a lot of calculations. There's an introduction. Let's scroll down a little bit. And then you see vibration 1, vibration 2, gives you the scores, the total scores. Now we scroll all the way down past 360. It then shows them in sorted order. The strongest vibration that Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson are connected on is 349. And it's a prime number. And it has an extremely high score of 743. And any score that's 400 or higher is extremely strong. So if I highlight it, we see they have 15 of them. And if it's 350 or higher, I can go down here, that's pretty darn strong as well. So 400 or higher, very conspicuous. 350 or higher, also very strong. There's nothing mystical, special about those specific cutoff points, 350 and 400, but they are reasonable cutoff points to just pick out the really strong, powerful connections. This is literally the wavelengths that the two people are connected on. And then what we're going to do is we're going to look at the details of these vibrations. Okay, so you've got the idea. Now, let's go back to our PowerPoint and look at that listing again. I just copied and pasted it. I just mentioned the 349 had a score of 743, and there were 15 with a score of 400 or higher. So I just copied and pasted it here. I drew a horizontal line to separate the 400 or higher and from the 350 or higher. And you'll see I put in yellow highlight some of these. What's the yellow highlight all about? The yellow highlight is that if the numbers that are, we call them the factors, the essential numbers that make up that number, the factors of the vibration, are 17 or lower, it's a very basic, fundamental connection. Vibrations of 19 and higher are more specialized. For example, 19 is pattern analysis. Suppose you have two people who are in high tech and they're doing pattern analysis or some kind of statistical thing, or two chess players. They're on a chess team, or one is a coach of the other one. Chess involves patterns, how the pieces are put together and how they relate to each other and how you can rearrange them. So their 19 is important. 23 vibration can be very important for people that are involved in investments. It's a calculated risk. You have two investors working together. So these higher vibrations can be very important. They have very specific interests. And if two married people are connected on 19 vibration or 23 vibration, that's going to come into the relationship. Our theory and observations at this point is that typically in a marriage kind of relationship, there's something additional that's more personal. 17 can get involved because of the empathy and so on. And also our research that I just mentioned on married couples. What were the vibrations? 7, 13, 55. 55 equals 11 times 5. The components of the number are 17 or lower. The number itself can be very high, but the components or factors of them, 17 or lower, they create kind of you might say a direct, simple, straightforward connection. So I've highlighted the ones where we can call it the components of the number. The word in arithmetic is factors are 17 or lower. So we go down this list, we got a 31, a 67, a 23, 17 times 17. 139, 1. They have a lot of conjunctions in their charts. A 13 times 3 times 3 times 3, the number is extremely high, 351, but the component, the basic component is simply 13. Because when you see 3, 6, any multiple of 2 or 3, that's a real basic overtone that doesn't change the color very much. So this is a straightforward, very high 13 vibe. Here's a 13 times 5. Now look at this. There's a 7 times 3, 7 times 9 times 2, and it's down here is 7 times 3 times 2. Well, 9 equals 3 times 3. This is actually 7 times 3, 7 times 3 times 2, 7 times 3 times 3 times 2. You're getting 3 high vibrations related to 7 times 3. This tells us they are on a very, very strong, soft 7 vibe. Soft meaning 3. So we want to look at maybe their 21 vibration or the 42 or 63. You can jump in at pretty much any level, because if we jump in at 21 vibration, then things in 42 will be opposition. So 21 is the 7 times 3, and then you get the 2, which means opposition. This is a basic principle of vibrational astrology, that you make the components. Well, let me show you a simple example. 7 times 3, if I do the 7 vibration chart, I'm going to see a lot of 3 aspects, means trines. So these components are also the components of the vibrational chart. If you're in a 7 chart, it's telling you you're going to see 3s. If you're in a 7 times 9, which is 63, you're going to see 2s, which is oppositions, telling you what aspects you're going to see. But if you go right to the vibration 21, they'll look like conjunctions. If you go to 7, they look like trines. Well, if you're not familiar with vibrational astrology, that might have sounded a little complex, but it's really extremely simple. Bottom line is this. We want to look at their soft 7. They are on soft 7 vibe, strong. And also I'm interested in this 13 times 3 times 3 times 3, because remember the numbers that showed up in the research? 7, 13, and 55. And we've got both of them, 7 and 13. The soulmate connection, the feeling of being special. Really interested in these for those reasons. I'm tempted to go to 7 first because it's so strong. So let's do it. What we do is, there's 2 things we can do. The first thing I'm going to show you is make a bi-wheel with the vibration you're interested in. You will see what the special connection is between the people. How cool is that? Let's do it for Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson. So, this just explains what I just did. There's one other note here. 13 times 27 equals 117 times 3. So when I look at this 13 times 3 times 3 times 3, I'm tempted to go to the 117 vibration because I'll see a lot of trines. I don't want to go to something lower because in our chart wheel, we don't draw in 3 times 3 aspects. Those would be noviles. We just draw in trines. So 117 would be a good chart to look at. There's no strict law. You just want to jump in to some factoring where you're able to see things. Since we draw trines in the wheel, 13 times 3 times 3, which is 117, makes sense. And I'm thinking for this, the 7 times 3, 7 times 3 times 2, 7 times 9 times 2, that 21, 42, 63 would be good to look at. Okay, so 7 has strong vibrations, strong patterns. Let's look at it. And here it is. Here is an extremely important connection. In vibrational astrology, we think this is more important than what their sun, moon, and rising signs are. Believe it or not. Everybody's talking about, oh, you're a Scorpio, you're a Gemini, blah, 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 blah. Well, when we looked at married couples, that didn't show up. This is what showed up. And when you look at actual real people with this idea, it's mind-blowing. And I'm going to show you the mind-blowing results. What I've done is I jumped up to 42 vibration. It's not that critical. I could do a 21 vibration. I could do a 42, 63. Actually, I did look at 21. To be honest, I looked at 21, 42, 63. In 21 vibration, it's impressive. The 42 and 63 was really some things that just pop out, like bam. So I thought I would just jump right into the 42 and 63. It's good to look at several of them, and you're going to see the same kinds of things in different ways, which I'm going to show you right now. So here it is at the 42. And then you just look to see how the planets are connected. And you'll see some very obvious things because this thing scored very high. It's got to have a lot of aspects. It's one of the strongest things they're connected on. And we notice that Rita, she's in the outer ring. It says 42 for Tom. His 42 and her 42 vibration. She has Venus-Uranus, opposition in the 7 vibe. Well, we saw this kind of thing when we did the other research, the other series of videos, when we were looking at Venus-Uranus aspects. But she has Venus-Uranus, Neptune involved a little bit, kind of weak. Venus-Neptune square, then Uranus-Neptune's out of warp. But basically Venus-Uranus with a little bit of Neptune. And Tom's Sun and Jupiter are making a T-square. His Sun and Jupiter at 14 and 15 Libra, squaring her Venus-Uranus. That is excellent because we know they're on a 42 vibration connection, but seeing that it involves Venus brings in the potential for romance. And it's her Venus-Uranus connected to his Sun, outstanding. Now, we also notice that her Sun is at 16 Aquarius, trine his Sun, a Sun. And we have this rule in vibrational astrology that same planet to same planet is very special. It's like the best. So we have a Sun in this vibration. This is excellent for a soulmate, this deeper soulmate sort of connection. Her Venus-Uranus tying up with his Sun, plus the Sun trine. Very good. It's not extraordinary. There would be other people who might have, would have similar things. But let's look a little bit closer. We see all these things at around 14 cardinal and 14 to 16 degrees of other signs. We might also notice a lot of planets around 24 degrees and their moons are sextiled. Tom's moon 24 Taurus 20, her moon 24 Cancer 10, a nearly exact sextile. Their suns are trine and their moons are sextile. The lights are connected. The suns are connected. The moons are connected. if you're new to vibrational astrology, you're going to say, whoa, you're on a fishing expedition here. You're getting really weird. You're 42 vibration. You're not even doing like simple septile 7 vibration or noviles 9. You're up in, this is what we found out. If you read the book on bipolar disorder, this we confirmed with new data. We did a hypothesis test that people with bipolar disorder have these 11 vibration aspects, but it's not so much 11 and 22, it's 11 times 8, 11 times 16. These high vibrations are they're like how the nervous system is firing. They're going down to like a core fundamental level. Astrology works by this intricate, beautiful tapestry, something we never imagined or understood. It's a big breakthrough in understanding, and here we see it. Sun trine Sun, Moon sextile Moon. And then other planets get thrown in. Rita's Mars is in between the moons. If you throw in additional planets, it adds even more energy. So her Neptune gets involved, her Pluto weekly, his Mars weekly. They're just throwing in more. Oh, Tom's Pluto is right on his moon. You're throwing in another planet. Throwing in more planets just builds even more to it. And it changes the quality. Moon Pluto is going to be some very deep thing for Tom that's connecting. It's almost like a past life, like a deja vu feeling. Like this is what I was always imagining, but I didn't even know I was imagining it. It's like you see something and it just feels like some deep, mysterious connection because of his moon Pluto. So you can see a lot of details and a lot of ways that this is developed that's specific. But to make the connection, the fundamental is Sun trine Sun, Moon sextile Moon, plus her Venus-Uranus involved. Interpretation, soulmates, potential soulmates. Not fated soulmates, not like they would necessarily realize this, but if both people's energy systems are open, they're single, and they're open and ready for attachment. If people are really bonded already, then they're not going to develop it in that kind of way. They might just have a good, deep understanding of each other. But if people are open to the idea of a deep, lasting, committed relationship, this opens the door to it big time. Now, let's look at it at the 63 vibration level. This is where we're just going up another overtone. We're going to see the same kind of things. You're just zooming in a little bit more. You're not looking at something totally different. You're going to zoom in, you're going to see it slightly differently. So here it is at the 63 vibration level. And by the zooming in, what I mean is 42 equals 7 times 6, 63 equals 7 times 9. In other words, 7 times 6 times 3. You're just tripling it again. You're just zooming in another 3, like a 3 magnification. So when we look at it, we still see the sun, but now it's turned into an opposition. So Tom's 63 is in the inner ring, Rita's 63 in the outer ring. So there's his sun, 21 Capricorn, opposition her sun, 25 Cancer. We allow an 8-degree orb for oppositions, but we really want half. We want half of the orbs, the maximum orbs. We want about within 4 degrees. So here the sun is not very strong, but it is there. And the moon has turned into a square, but a very tight square. Very, very small orb, extremely tight square moon. So we still have the sun, and the moon. As we zoom in, the orbs get larger. At the 63 level, the sun has gotten pretty weak. It was stronger, less zoomed in. Still there. The moon is so strong at 42, it's still strong at 63. Now something really amazing happens. Not only do they have sun, and moon, look at her moon. Again, Rita's in the outer ring. Her moon at 21 Virgo his sun at 21 Capricorn. In fact, it's 21 Virgo 15, 21 Capricorn 02. Almost all of you are astrologers. You know what I'm talking about. They're trine. Her moon is trine his sun. Not only do they have sun, sun, and moon, moon, but her moon is trine his sun. As we zoom in, when you see things like that, it was already amazing at 42 that they have sun, sun, moon, moon. Now they also have sun, moon. And what about the other way around? We'll find out it's out of orb. So if we do his sun to her moon, Cancer to Sagittarius, that would be a quincunx, 4-degree orbit's not there. Out of the 4 possible sun-moon aspects, sun, sun, moon, moon, his sun to her sun to his moon, 3 of them, 3 out of 4 are there. Amazing. And remember, this is the kind of thing we saw when we researched the married couples. Sun-moon connections or Venus connections in 7, 13, or 55. Now, there were very specific things that were found, but I think the real heart of that finding is just to remember those basics. They could mix up in ways that are a little bit different from specifically what we saw in the research. It's basically the way I'm using that research is I'm saying 7, 13, 55 with Venus or sun-moon connections. And here we got it. Sun and moon in 7, extremely strong. And there are additional planets that get thrown in. So Tom's Jupiter is right in the middle of this thing. Tom's Saturn is, it's trying her. Let's see. Oh, that's his own moon. His Saturn is conjunct her Mercury, which is at 22. So this is trining his moon. He's got his Saturn trine her moon. Her Mercury is with his Saturn also trine his moon. So his Saturn, her Mercury, his Jupiter is also involved because he's got a Sun-Jupiter opposition. So her Sun is conjunct his Jupiter. I think that's about it. Yeah, I just highlighted these. So a few additional planets. Not that we need any more. Having this Sun-Moon is enough, but additional planets strengthening it even more. Wow. Wow. So with these tools, we're finding ways into this intricate, beautiful tapestry that exists. It's there. It's a whole new world that is getting confirmed with databases, and then you just pull out charts, you look at it, and you find it, and this new feature to be able to find the strong vibrations is allowing us to do this. Now, listen to this. This is really cool. I Googled Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson, and this was one of the first articles that I saw. It's not like I spent months working on this to make it look good. No, I just did this, Googled a little bit, and I read things like this. This is from a website, popsugar.com, blah, blah, blah. Down here's the source. So when Ford, I guess he's some interviewer or something, asked if marriage was hard, so he asks Rita Wilson, is your marriage difficult? I mean, it's great that you guys are so happy, just wonderful. She says, commitment isn't hard. I never doubt the commitment, but things come up in life. Everyone has hardship and loss, but commitment is the foundation. There's such value in the depth of your relationship, your friendships, your marriage, your children, all of that. To me, that's what makes you feel safe to go out and pursue the things that are more risky. Wow. 7 vibration. We're learning from what Rita's telling us that she has a marriage built on 7 vibration, what it does. It makes commitment easy. It makes you feel that you're connected at a deep level. This is stable. This is deep. This is deeply rooted. That's what 7 vibration does. The suns and moons are connected. And what's really now I'm really beginning to understand why people are getting married with 7 vibration. It makes you feel safe to go out and pursue the things that are more risky. It gives you this stability. and depth. Why would it give such stability? Because you really understand each other at your core, at your heart. You're not having these kind of superficial misunderstandings that lead to a lot of little arguments and so on. People are going to argue. There's going to be misunderstanding. I'm not saying it's a panacea, but it's going to decrease that and increase the depth of connection. So then they talked to Tom, and I guess this guy Ford works for People magazine. Tom also told people that since life is hard, it's important that your marriage not be hard. Quote, they say it must be hard work. No, it's not. Every now and again, you got to get over some stuff, but life is one damn thing after another. And it's actually more pleasant to be able to go home with someone you like to spend time with in order to get with it. He says the same thing she says in different words. So everybody says, no, marriage is hard. You got to work on it. Marriage, he says, no. Well, for me, it's not that hard. She says, no, commitment's not difficult. But life is hard. It's hard for all of us. All the money in the world isn't going to prevent your loved ones from dying and, et cetera, et cetera. We all dealing with stuff. And that 7 vibration gives you like a place to retreat to. When you come home, you can close the door. You can just be quiet together. You just enjoy that quiet. It's like a refuge. You create a refuge with a person that you have 7 vibration with. You don't have to impress each other. You can just be quiet. You can cook together. You can read together. You can watch a movie together. You can enjoy the peace and the depth, and you can collect yourselves together. That's what they're talking about. I've rephrased it in a 3rd way. And I think if Rita and Tom were listening to me, they would say, yeah, David's, he's put it a 3rd way. Well, we'll take it. That's good. He's saying the same thing. Because I get it. I get it because I'm seeing the astrology. It's really amazing how people will speak what's in the charts. So here's another situation. Tom told Piers Morgan in a 2013 interview, I must say that when I met Rita, I thought, oh, this is what it's supposed to be like when you are married to someone. It's supposed to be this, carefree and easy, and oddly enough, weighty. Oh my God. Weighty. 7 vibration is deep. It's profound. There's a kind of respect and honoring of the depth of each other as people. So, wow. So carefree. I didn't know that the 7 vibration would be carefree. This is why we're constantly learning, refining, because we see it's the 7 vibration. But now we see that it makes sense in compatibility because you can trust each other. Without trust, there's nothing. They trust each other. Why do they trust each other? Is it because of their character is so noble? Because they're like saints? Or their word is gold? Everybody's got weaknesses. They're not saints. I mean, they're beautiful people, but I don't know if anybody's really a saint to that level, but it's because they understand each other. They're 7 vibe. It's a soul connection. They get it. You just get it. You know where this person's at. And everything you do together, you're getting where you're coming from, what's really important. And it helps you get deeper. You're connecting on 7 vibration. You get wiser. You become like a wise person, more meditative, more profound, more thoughtful, because that's what you're vibing with. And the person you're with is amplifying that. Amazing. That the things they say, they're not saying, oh, she's the most beautiful, gorgeous, sexiest, blah, 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 smartest. They could say that. It might be cute, whatever, but they're being honest. They decided to be honest. They don't want to tell the interviewer something that everybody's going to listen to what these celebrities said and just do what they said. They're telling you straight out. They're honest with themselves, and they're not afraid to be honest because they trust each other. So they can say it. They're not going to hurt each other because of that 7 depth of trust. And they tell these interviewers some very important information. Now I'm going to tell you one more thing, and then I'm going to take a break and have a part 2 because I want to talk about their 13 vibe connection. But just one more thing about the 7. Listen to this. This just blows my mind. More 7 vibration. Tom tells the interviewer, People magazine, quote, "No one should get married before they're 30, he told People. This bit of advice likely comes from personal experience. Tom married his college sweetheart, Samantha Luz, when he was 21. Hanks and Luz divorced 9 years and 2 kids later. Tom married Rita in 1988 and has 2 children with her." Well, not only is it from personal experience, it's from, just the personal experience of, I was young and didn't know what I was doing, and, it's not, what I want to say is it's not just he's biased because his first marriage didn't work and his second one did. It's not a pure, just like bias happened to go that way. It's because his second marriage was not only a second marriage, but it was a 7 vibration. If you get older, when you marry, if you're older, and you've been thinking deeply and feeling deeply, you've got a higher probability of developing this wiser, deeper appreciation on a 7 vibration level. It's hard to do that when you're young. We often say in vibrational astrology, when the sun goes down and it gets quiet, it's more 7 vibration, more thoughtful, more meditative. And as you get older, not old, but like into your 30s, 40s, that training, that focus, that wisdom that develops, 7 vibration. And it's funny, I think, the way that Tom says this. No one should get married before they're 30. Well, he's not the kind of person who is very opinionated and whatever. And so I think anything he says is, with a sense that maybe there's exceptions to the rule. But, honestly, he's saying this 7 vibration stuff is really good. This is good. This is really good to trust, to appreciate the heart and soul of each other. To be quieter, deeper, more profound connection. It goes beyond just the appearances. So there it is. Not only can we go in there, see extraordinary planetary configurations that are just too much to be true, that are consistent with earlier research, but also when we apply the ideas in consultations, in specific examples, you see that it connects. It's just so meaningful and important. And that's one of the things that's important in an evidence-based practice. That data must be confirmed in the application, and very often in the application, that data, the cold numbers, becomes alive. And you see it in people's lives. I think I go on to 13 vibration. Tom and Rita are describing their 7 vibration connection. Big letters, exclamation point. Okay, I'm going to stop here and have a part 2. This video is a little bit long. We're at 39 minutes. I'm going to stop here, and the next part of this series will probably be a little bit shorter. And I'm going to talk about, I think I'm just going to talk about their 13 vibe. I don't remember what I've got. I think that's about it. Talk a little bit about that, and because that was the other one that showed up in the listing. Very, very strong that we want to look at. Okay, my friends, I'll see you in part 2 on this series of videos on the, what did I call the title of this? On the Same Wavelength. Okay, that's it for now. Thank you very much. God bless. Namaste.